All right, welcome into Beyond the Prescription, where we're talking about nutrition. Nutrition is our mission. Here tonight, we're here with Andrew Roark. Am I saying that right?
At Roark, if most
Roark?
of the time, if you're from the north, it's Rourke, and then if you're from the
Okay.
south,
Oh,
it's
I was
Roark.
wondering that
Yeah,
from the South.
yeah.
I hear that drawn out. I kind of like it. I kind of like it. So we're here tonight to talk about all things health and wellness. My friend Andrew is a principal,
Mhm,
a father,
mhm.
and a jack of all trades, right?
Yeah, do a little. I think my wife and my former boss calls me the Renaissance man, and I don't know if that's. I don't know. I think I'm more of a master of none than a jack of all trades. So
I consider myself that as well. You just put your toe in all the water, right?
yeah.
So tonight we're here to talk about all things health and wellness. We're here to talk about your story because honestly, Andrew, I find it absolutely incredible.
Mhm.
Like you've lost 70 pounds. You off 8 medications.
I'll take medication. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yes.
So I'd love to talk a little bit tonight about who Andrew was 2 years ago before you started this health journey.
Okay. Well, um, I found out a few years ago that I had cancer through a car wreck. It was crazy, and after the surgery, I wanted to make some changes because when you
Mm.
hear that word, it scares you, especially when you're young and you've got a young child. And so I started looking for ways to change it, but you can't you can't do everything. You can't do the shots because you can't do that if you have thyroid problems. So I kept asking my doctor. I said, something's got to give. I said, my weight's going up, and I was only eating twice a day,
Oh
and
wow.
it just kept climbing and climbing. And I said, I don't know what we're going to do. So I was having a lot of trouble with the thyroid medicine. Um, I was having. I mean, I swear, don't laugh, but it's like I was getting hot. I told her
Hmm.
I'm burning from the inside. I said, Lord, I can't handle this. I told her I just rather quit it. So we finally got that lined out, and I kept seeing Larry and Connie and Isaac and all those folks, and I watched them for 6 months straight. And one day it was right after the district basketball tournament we had hosted, and it was a long week, and I was hurting. My joints and my knees were swollen, and they were hurting, and I was just so tired. And me and Rachel said, I showed her a picture of Deco, and I said, I'm trying this. So we
Oh
decided
yeah.
to use our health savings card, and we did that option because you couldn't do the subscription. Just, it was a one-time purchase, and we said, okay, we're going to do this together. We're gonna take this serious. We're gonna walk through this together for 2 weeks.
Hmm.
If we like it after 2 weeks, then we'll buy another system, and that'll get us through a month. If we like a month, we'll go from there. So we bought that first one with the health savings card. The next one, I just went ahead and said, hey, I like this because after the first 2 weeks, I'd lost 11 pounds.
Oh my God. In the first 2 weeks?
First 2 weeks, lost 11 pounds, and it was just amazing that I wasn't hungry. I had more energy than I'd ever had. Um, I was clear, and I have ADHD, so that is one
Hmm.
of the medicines I'm not allowed to get off of. That and my 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 thyroid medicine. So I think it made me even more focused.
Oh
When I
wow.
started the tea, and it helped really zero us in on. And one of the best things is we did it together. You know,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
if we went to a restaurant, we carry our balance with us. We get a little bottle, we mix it up together, and we do that having each other's backs. And one, it holds us accountable because nobody's going to hold you more accountable than your spouse. But,
Exactly.
but
Agreed.
two, it was also us going through different things and we could talk about it. And you know, our methods for it are totally opposite. She likes her first tea in the morning hot, um, dying for apple spice to come back. Thinks it's the greatest thing on the planet. So she does her first one hot and replaces her coffee.
Hmm.
And then after she sips on that one, her second tea is then cold. I like mine in 40 ounces. I like a lot of water because one of my big issues was I was not getting enough water. And I was drinking six Pepsis a day.
Oh my
Six,
gosh.
six
Six
Pepsi, yeah,
Pepsis a
a
day.
day. Regular full leaded Pepsis,
Oh my
six of them a day.
gosh, Andrew.
So now, 15 months later, I, I I couldn't. They messed up my drink at the restaurant one time, and I tasted it, and it was real Pepsi. It almost made me sick.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Oh yeah.
desserts do that now. They I don't like it. The sugary things. Just don't. It's different now. Um, if I was to eat just a little bitty piece of cake, man, it'll make me like a kid. Like really on a sugar high. So you know, it's been a big change.
Hmm.
But what's crazy is it's not a diet, and you know that. I've heard
Yeah.
you say that. People get so caught up in it's a diet and the weight. And listen, that is great. That is an amazing thing. But being off the medicines and having my health back and my life back, and now I'm in control of it. I don't have to worry about that anymore. Um,
And let's talk about that for a minute. Okay, so
okay.
you had gout. How long did you have gout?
I had gout for years, and I would go to the doctor, and they would put me on medicines. And there's this one medicine. I'm going to butcher it. Cocrist.
Colchicine.
Yeah. Okay. It literally says on the bottle, take 1 an hour until you have diarrhea.
Yep.
And I would have. I mean, I was doing that like every 3 months. It was
Oh
miserable.
wow. Oh
And
wow.
I could not win with it. I mean, I was trying to find anything out there. Milk thistle. I mean, look that my toes. If I could show you my toes, I have toes that have knots worse than that. That's gout. And it was bad. I mean, there was one night my finger swelled up so bad that my wife had to use a Dremel tool to cut my wedding band off, and now this one's rubber. Um, but it was bad, and I wasn't drinking alcohol. I
Hmm.
had alpha gout at the time. I couldn't eat any red meat. So you could not tell me that it
Wow.
was because of red meat and alcohol, because I couldn't touch red meat and I wasn't drinking alcohol. So it just was not getting any better. So a big thing of that was the six Pepsis a day. And we want to think that it's the rich man disease, gout, and it's the red meat and it's the alcohol. No, it's not. It's the fact that what we're doing with sugar is shutting
Hmm.
our kidneys down, and
Yep.
it's making us sick, and it's holding those that uric acid. Our body can't flush it because we've paralyzed it.
Yeah.
So that's the reason I like the 40 ounces of water. I drink one of these in the morning, and
Hmm.
then I drink my first tea in 40 ounces, and then I get 120 ounces of liquids a day and two teas in one of these bottles. Um,
Oh wow. Okay.
now,
So
go ahead.
one thing I wanted to pull up is I wanted to pull up this because this is the typical American diet. Now,
Hmm.
I know 3 years ago this was me,
Hmm.
3 meals, 3 snacks a day. I don't know about you and Rachel,
Oh yeah.
but this is typically what we would do. And let's be honest, there was sugar, there were carbs in all of our meals and all of our snacks. We weren't just eating, raw vegetables for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? We were
Yeah.
enjoying the sandwiches and the bagels and the sodas, like you said, and spiking our blood sugar, which then spikes our insulin. And so many people think insulin's a diabetic thing, but it's really not. It's an
No,
everybody
it's
thing.
not. Yes.
Yeah. And so we were spiking our blood sugar. That's that little brown arrow is indicating, which would make the pancreas release insulin to push down that blood sugar and push the sugar out of our bloodstream and into the muscles and into the liver where it's stored as energy to be used later. The problem
Hmm.
is we weren't using it later
Mm-mm.
because we were just constantly stuck in storage mode. And over time, that high insulin level starts building up to the point where right at the cellular level, And I want to make sure people understand this because this really pertains to gout. And this is where you were really struggling and didn't understand at the time. You know it
Mm-hmm.
now. But for
Mm-hmm.
everybody else, the cells stop working the way they should. They get overbogged and overburdened by the constant insulin pushing in sugar, pushing in sugar. Over time, the cells stop opening, receiving the sugar like it used to. And this is the state in which we call insulin resistance. Now, insulin resistance at the kidney level starts messing with your sodium
Mm-hmm.
absorption and excretion, hence high blood pressure, something I struggled with and you as well.
Yes.
And then, as well, that sodium, because the body is retaining that sodium, guess what gets pulled back into the kidneys with sodium? Uric acid.
Uric acid. Oh
That's
yeah.
how the gout doesn't leave the body. So it's all related. That insulin level, that higher blood sugar, it's what we're eating, causing the hormone to be released, setting us up for the insulin resistant state. Uric acid pulled in, sodium pulled in. And so many people don't realize that blood pressure and gout, I mean, it really comes down to being a sugar issue.
Oh yeah. And that's what we have to. That's the biggest thing. If there's anything that I want to share from my experience, it's and I've always tell people I don't want to be a statistic. I didn't want to be a statistic. I'm tired of us just going through the way we've been trained and us keep doing what we're doing because it's not working.
No.
And this is not a diet. This is my mom calls it a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And that's a perfect description of what we're doing. We're not going to tell you that you can't eat X, Y, and Z and you got to do this and that. We're not doing that. We're telling
Nope.
you that we're gonna do our fasting. We're gonna drink 2 drinks a day. We're gonna drink our balance, and so it just becomes. At first, it feels like a lot, but then we do it at vacation, we do it at restaurants. If we go
Us
to a
too.
restaurant,
Yeah. It's
anywhere
simple.
we go, yes, it is,
It's so
and
simple.
that's what. Why would you want all the side effects from everything else that's out there? It really blows my mind that we, as Americans, we complain about medicine and all this stuff, but then we want to fix our problems with more medicine.
Yeah.
That's not what it is.
Yeah.
This is all natural. It's healthy, and it's changed our life. I mean, it's changed a lot of my whole family's life. Um,
Well, another big, huge thing that you had was you had Crohn's and
mhm.
IBS, which
Yes.
are, that's a major inflammatory condition, very related to what we're eating, right? And we see a lot of people who really struggle with getting rid of those symptoms. Can you tell us a little bit about your history with Crohn's and then post surgery, how you were doing?
Yeah. So our family, and if there's any of my aunt or any of my family watching, there's a thing called the Roark belly, and the Roark belly gets diverticulitis, and the Roark belly is not very good. So it was years and years ago. I'd went in for a surgery, and they thought I was having appendicitis. So when they went in for the surgery, the guy said, "Hey, it was a Sunday playoffs, NFL playoffs." The doctor said, "Hey, man, I'll have you awake in time to watch the Cowboys." I said, "All right, 10-4, let's go." So went to sleep, woke up. I mean, it was like 6 hours later, and I was like, "Hey, I missed the game. What's up?" And he said, "Well, you had about 12 inches of your colon was like black hard pipe." He said
Oh
it was
my
it was
gosh.
it was like it was plastic, and we had to cut it out and we had to reattach it. And so, from that, um, it always made me have like if I ate something, I had to go straight to the restroom. I mean, it was constant. It was a kind of a running joke in the family that I had to know the location of a restroom wherever we were at. If we were on vacation, we were walking around the amusement park. I had to know where the next bathroom was just in case. And now that's not a good way to live.
No, no, not at
And
all.
and that comes from the way we eat, and now a little bit of this is genetics, because there's a couple others in our family that have Crohn's disease and fight it. They've not been able to find it in my blood since then.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
the years before, like the years during like cancer and like the 2 years following up to starting the unicity, I was on the antibiotics for diverticulitis 3 times.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Okay.
and I could tell from the pain in my belly, hey, I'm getting diverticulitis, and they would give me the antibiotics to try to fix it. Those antibiotics aren't fun.
No.
So I didn't even think about fixing the gut. Now, and I always hear you. I was Mr. Dr. Jen talks about the gut and gut health and taking care of your gut, and the more I got to thinking about that, now I, I, I it's like, I mean, I go to the restroom one time a day, and it's because I have healed my gut. You weren't lying when you said that. I have,
Mm-hmm.
my gut is healed. And Rachel just recently had a colonoscopy, and it was perfect. So she had her thyroid blood work. Uh, the last time she had that, her numbers, used to go all crazy and alopecia and stuff like that. But Hashimoto, but it right now it was as good as it's been. There's something to you know not eating the processed foods, eating
Yes.
right, not following the insulin spikes, because I mean we're trained. We're trained to eat carbs. We're
Mm-hmm.
trained to spike it, then let it crash. Spike it
Mm-hmm.
and let it crash. And that's not that's not the way we need to do it.
No, it doesn't work at all. I wanted to pull up this picture because, sir, who is this?
Now that was 2000, probably 2017. I was probably I just had been named the athletic director at Corbin High School,
When
and
you sent me this picture, I thought it
yeah,
was like maybe your dad.
yeah.
Honestly,
I look a lot older in that picture.
isn't that
Um,
crazy?
it is crazy,
That
and
extra
look at
weight
look at that
literally
look at that
put
chin down there. I mean, I
it.
always had a big neck, and I always told people, "Oh, I've got about a 20-inch neck on my shirt because I'm a big boy," and I've been big my whole life. I was I was I was a big kid. My mom had to carry my birth certificate because everybody thought they was letting a grown man play with the kids. But
What? Seriously?
yeah, yeah, it was because I was just overgrown. But I matured really, really young. But and that's. I mean, they always said we had to eat. Of course, now we grew up on a farm. We worked
Mm-hmm.
hard. Um, we would go throw hay in the hayfield, and then, you know, go to ball practice, and then come back the next day. I mean, it was. We grew up active and out and about. Um, so, but it wasn't anything to go in after after dinner and get cornbread that was left over, put it in, the milk, in the buttermilk, and eat that. That was our, you know, nighttime snack. And I mean, that's just straight carbs.
Yeah. Well, this is okay. So maybe we should talk a little bit about the modern food environment
Yeah.
because it's what set you up for failure, right? Okay.
Oh
So the
yeah.
eight medications that you've gotten rid of,
Mhm.
I want to go over that real quick. So you were on medication for your bowel issues, right?
Yeah. Blood, the bowels, pressure, gout. Um, that's a famous one. Um, Now I was on. Now you got to remember, I was on four different. Four of the eight were all blood pressure.
And that's not uncommon. So just so everybody knows, I get this question a lot as a
Yeah,
pharmacist. People will come in and say, I'm already on 3 blood pressure medications. My doctor wants me on a water pill now. Isn't that also for blood pressure? Yes, guys, being on 4 blood pressure medications it's very common for so many
yeah,
disease states.
and that's one of the ones that. Now it's the levothyroxine for the thyroid, and it's the ADHD medicine. But I
Okay.
mean, the 4 of the 8 was that, and then you throw in the gout, um, throw in the gout medicine, you throw in the stomach medicine, you throw in the protonics, um, and that's,
Yeah.
I mean, it was miserable. And I'll tell you, I thought about this. You know, I was 40. I'm 46 years old. If I was on 8 to 10, or if I was on 10 medicines at 46 years old, what's it going to be like at 66?
Oh my gosh. You're the okay. So I'm also 46. We're twins tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the big problem for me. Like, that's why I started on this health journey. And this is why I started on this whole health system, was because I was on 3 prescriptions. I was on 2 blood pressure medications that I had been on for 20 years. I was on omeprazole that I had been on for 15 years. And I went to the doctor with early menopause symptoms. I couldn't sleep through the night. My mood was a mess. I was having hot flashes. I was a disaster. And the doctor wanted to prescribe 4 more medicine.
Mm-hmm.
At 43, I was going to be on 7 prescriptions. And I look back at the other people coming through the pharmacy that I see every single day, people that I've watched for years get on more meds and more meds and more meds. And I said, no, there's something's got to give.
Oh
Time out.
yeah.
Something's wrong. Like, I'm doing something wrong here. Juvenile arthritis at age 35, early menopause at age 43. Like, I'm obviously trending in the wrong direction. But I'll be honest, the whole term insulin resistance is not something that I heard from the doctor's office. Um, the current medical community, they are excellent at prescribing the medication that you need for your disease state. But here, healthcare in America is we rarely deal with the actual root cause of the problem. So I did want to pull up just a quick little informative, everybody's little 5 minutes of
Mm-hmm.
education tonight, if everybody will
Yeah.
sit peaceful with me and really talk about the modern food environment, because that's where I was.
Mm-hmm.
3 meals a day plus snacks. I know that's the same for you. And it's really something that needs to be discussed, because I don't think everybody dives deep into really why we get sick.
Mm-hmm.
Why we get sick. So, without further ado, my 5 minutes of education for tonight. Thank you for listening. All right, friends. So, most people today are living in the low energy, weight gain, declining health category, and they don't even realize that the real culprit is insulin resistance. We lead ourselves into this cycle of having these high carb meals that are leading to insulin being released from the pancreas. Over time, that cellular resistance occurs, which just crashes down our GLP hormone, our hunger hormone. Blood sugar spikes high, crashes low, spikes our hormones, we're hungry again, keeping us in this cycle for years until we end up inflamed, having the gout, and having all of these symptoms of insulin resistance that you and I both had. For me, I had the cravings. I would have the high and the low blood sugar. I had symptoms similar to PCOS, which is the same as early menopause or perimenopause, that I'd gone into. And estrogen dominance is also very similar side effect profile. Decreased testosterone for the men, low muscle tone. It can show up as gout, low thyroid function, high cholesterol, high triglycerides, high blood sugar, tired after every single meal, holding on to that belly fat. Adult acne is insulin resistance, guys. We're not supposed to have acne in our 40s and 50s. That's not normal. Migraines all the time, our hair falling out, the skin tags and pigmentation, very, very common. And that the constant cravings and hunger is usually the thing that people see the most. These are all signs of being in that insulin resistant state. And the truth is the doctors, the pharmaceuticals are not fixing the root cause. They're addressing the symptoms. Hey, we have high blood sugar. We have a pill for that. We have high blood pressure. We have high cholesterol. But these are the symptoms of an actual problem. And it's poor metabolic health. And the truth is your metabolic health, which 93% of people are suffering from, is determined by your blood glucose, your waist circumference, triglycerides, HDL cholesterol being too low, and blood pressure being too high. And that was something that both me and Andrew were struggling with. Over 50% of Americans are pre-diabetic or diabetic. Those numbers keep going up. And there's more experts and programs. And I mean, Andrew, did you try a million different things? Did you try different supplements? Did you try different things before you got here?
Oh yeah. I mean, I had tried lots of things throughout the years, but nothing nothing worked because it wasn't going to stick. Because I'll be honest with you, I didn't have the willpower. I didn't have the willpower to make it stick.
Yep. And I think that's common. And
Hmm.
and often I have people come to me after they tried their fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth thing, after they spent hundreds of dollars, and they look at me and say, "Why would I spend money on what you're talking about? I've already spent so much." But the truth is with all these experts out here and all these expensive medications that exist, as a nation, we're still sicker than ever. And this is why we have the tea and fiber protocol that me and Andrew have been talking about tonight, also known as the Feel Great System. It is food based, backed by decades of science, clinically proven in more than 20 clinical studies, safe, effective, free of side effects, and actually target the root cause of why we get sick. So, this helps our body have a healthy insulin response where the blood sugar doesn't spike as high so it doesn't crash as low. Helps regulate the glucagon like peptide hormone as well as the hormones ghrelin and leptin to give you an evener keel with your blood sugar. And like we said before, keeps us from binging and craving on those carbs and sugar. So it's simple how it works. Because of today's modern food environment and our meals causing these insulin and glucose spikes, causing high fat storage, high cravings, long term damage to our internal organs, and symptomology such as gout, such as IBS, like Andrew was struggling from, this is what you can do instead. Our tea and fiber protocol is so simple. It's tea first thing in the morning. We do it with some time based eating. It makes us not hungry, raises that glucagon like peptide hormone, it makes it so that we can push back our first meal of the day and allow the gut some time to heal. If you want to know how Andrew was able to get away from some of these inflammatory bowel issues, it's by giving the gut some time to heal, giving the gut some time without processed food, without sugar, without carbs. And it's very simple to do with the tea. Now, this leads into more fat burning, fewer cravings, and steady energy all day. And we're doing this with both tea and fiber. So let's start with the tea. Our beautiful tea is Unimate. It is an extract of yerba mate. It is kosher halal, all natural, natural caffeine in it. And it's easy to keep you from being hungry, keep a clear and focused mind throughout the day. It boosts your energy without any artificial ingredients, and it helps your body increase its own GLP-1 naturally, better than water fasting alone. I have people reach out to me all day long and say, I've been fasting. It's not working. Okay, here's some tools in your toolkit that's going to make it easier.
Hmm.
So much. I could have never done fasting. Before you saw this and you got started with this, could you do time-based eating? Could you go one meal a day, sir? There's
No,
no
they.
way.
I remember being a kid, and I would hear the old timers at church talk about fasting and praying, and we got to fast and pray. And I used to think, holy cow, man, these people like skip a meal and pray. And now at Thanksgiving we did 72 hours. Now I get a little squirrely at 72 hours, but
Yeah,
it fasting now, because the fasting now, that's one of the biggest things for me now, is being a cancer survivor, is the benefits that come from fasting and the research. There's research out there that say that it is beneficial to fast and get rid of some of the bad cells. I'm not an expert, so I'm not going to say anything about that. But there's research out there that says that fasting is very, very beneficial to help keep some of those bad things away. Um,
absolutely. Absolutely. And it helps you avoid that inflammatory state. It's time that your body is not having to process inflammatory compounds. And let's be honest, our food is very inflammatory today in the modern food environment. And so one of the other focuses of this system is the glucagon like peptide hormone, which is a big trigger word these days. Lots of people are talking about it because, like you said, that is what the injections do, but you couldn't use that because of thyroid cancer. And so you needed a healthier option. And this is an option that does not affect the thyroid gland. So there's no risk there. It helps control cravings, keeps you fuller longer, and supports all of those keys for fat loss, including the glucagon like peptide hormone, leptin, and ghrelin, two other hormones that are not affected by the injections. Help balance fat and keep you from craving. So millions are injecting, right? And they're getting the irreversible side effects. We've heard a bazillion. I mean, you've heard the lawsuits, the 2 billion in lawsuits. I see stories all the time online. I mean, the osteoporosis, the bone loss, the muscle loss, and the list goes on and on and on. Blindness. I've seen some of these side effects. I live in a town of 10,000 people. I've seen people come in with these side effects. So these are not few and far between. And they're serious, and some of them are potentially completely irreversible. So instead, we take a very all natural approach to help support the GLP with our beautiful Unamate tea. And then we pair that tea, drinking it twice a day, increasing that hormone so that we're not hungry, we're not craving, we're not ravenous, and we're not going through the drive through 24/7. And then we add our beautiful prebiotic fiber. And this fiber is game changer. It really is. And I know for someone like, okay, so Andrew, you were struggling with this inflammatory bowel condition. And so when you hear the word fiber, it might even scare you a little bit because you knew for diverticulitis, you need to have fiber in that body. But at the same time, what does fiber do to increasing your
Oh,
fiber or changing your food? Well, you're afraid it's going to go right through you, right?
oh yeah. And to be honest, like the first couple days, I was thinking, man, I can't do this. This fiber, I need to get off this fiber. Oh, it's
Mm-hmm.
killing me. But after about a week, um, Isaac told me, he said, hang in there 1 week, get it a week. And after a week, I couldn't believe how much better it was.
Yeah. And that's what, depending on your gut health, this fiber may have to be drank slowly and introduced slowly into your body, especially someone with any sort of flared inflammatory bowel issue, whether you're talking diverticulitis, IBS, Crohn's, any of these, SIBO, any of those things. You need fiber. It is literally the one thing that's going to make your gut healthy, but you have to go slow with it and don't be afraid of it. And that's one of the great things about having a coach to work with you, Andrew.
Hmm.
Instead of just buying something off the shelf and winging it and trying to figure it out as you go. If you have someone working with you to troubleshoot with you to help you figure out what to do and if you're doing it right, it's game changer, right? Just like
Oh
just
yeah.
like for sports. You guys know the coach is important. The coach is your number one. So
Oh yeah.
if you take it before those meals, this fiber slows glucose absorption by up to 43%. For diabetic or pre-diabetic, this is radically helping your blood sugar. For someone like me or Andrew, it is radically helping your blood sugar by keeping those insulin spikes away. The result, no bloating, no sleepiness, no sugar cravings after meals because your sugar isn't going straight up and crashing down and bottoming it out your GLP. Instead, it's nice and steady and slow. Supports healthy cholesterol, triglycerides, and cardiovascular function, making it the perfect solution for surviving today's modern food environment that we know is so hard to avoid. Without a diet, like me and Andrew were saying, without a diet, without a meal plan, we're not counting calories, we're not weighing anything. And these products are actually backed by real science. In fact, the number one heart hospital, Cleveland Clinic, showed that such a product, if taken regularly, could reduce cardiovascular risk on a population basis and decrease the need for lipid lowering prescription drugs. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Statin. Yeah.
Hmm.
So, listed in the prescriber's digital reference, which is the gold standard reference for medications, and we're the only company in the world with two natural products that directly address insulin resistance. Meaning, the system isn't just another supplement sitting on the shelf at the grocery store. It's actually proven credible and recognized at the highest level of healthcare and all of these benefits for less than $6 a day. I have people all the time who are like, but it costs something. What's the real cost of your health for doing nothing? I mean, can
Well,
you
I've done the
imagine?
math. I've done the math on cutting 8 prescriptions, or the
Hmm.
prescriptions that I've cut, and I'm saving over $60 a month in at the
Just that.
pharmacy.
Yeah,
It,
just in that.
I mean, that's $60 of it. So I mean, that's
Yeah, that's wild.
that's almost half of it. Then if you take, um, if you take the rest of it, you cut out eating. You cut out that breakfast
Hmm.
wherever you're buying it at, or like you like to talk, the foo coffee at the Starbucks.
Those
Um,
Starbies will get you. Yep.
and you cut those things out. I mean, the savings of it really add up.
Oh, absolutely. I don't know where you can go to get an energy drink for less than $2.50.
No.
Gatorade, Gatorade, a little bag of chips, little drink, 2, $3 easy every single time. And these
Yep.
things add up. And so many people come up to me and say, well, I don't know if I can afford it. Do you buy chips? Do you buy snacks? Do you buy drinks at all? If you do, you may be surprised at how easily you could switch where you put your money and put it into health and wellness instead. It really does cut the extra calories, the impulsive snacking, and it really does offset its cost and actually lead to savings. Larry Snyder alone talking about his med savings, snacking saving, hundreds of dollars a month from going to the
Hmm.
doctor every single month to not having to anymore. And it comes with a 90-day money back guarantee. So honestly, there is no risk, only reward if you give it a try. So no risk, A1C guarantee if you're using the system. And honestly, there's no pharmaceutical company on the planet that will give you a money back guarantee. I have people come to the pharmacy all day long and ask, hey, my antibiotic didn't work. Hey, I have diverticulitis again, right? My gout is still flaring up and I'm taking the medication. Do you get your money back because it didn't
No.
work? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not how it works. And honestly, these products are helping so many people with life-changing results. Just a few of my friends who are doing this. Steve, full-blown type 2 diabetic, was on all kind. Doctor wanted him on all kinds of medication, and he said no. He said he wanted to do it on his own. He wanted to try to change what he was eating. He started drinking the tea, drinking the fiber, and within a few months, completely radically changed his health. Blood sugar average down to 92. It's just incredible. Um, Larry and Connie, who you know, as well
Hmm.
as Marcus, his wife, have done
Hmm.
absolutely amazing. Marcus is an over the road truck driver, sits in the truck, okay? Lost 105 pounds. Larry and Connie, as a couple, have lost over 200. His polycythemia no longer existed 40 days in. Mobility, energy up, all of these things. It's just incredible. And then I throw me and Mike in there. Why? Because we're the ones trying to hit the gym all the time. So I try to tell people no matter if you're not hitting the gym or if you are, and we're going to talk about that with you too, Andrew. Because
Hmm.
after Andrew lost 70 pounds, he now put on 10.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
but
we're
it's
going
the
to have
right kind of it's the right kind of 10. And
the good
you know, I'm
kind.
not back I'm not back to trying to lift crazy heavy weight, you know, like I was when I was younger. But now body weight exercises, pull ups, push ups, you know, making sure I'm getting my steps in and walking and those kinds of things. So I'm putting weight a few pounds back on, but it's good pounds. It's you know
Putting
you
on muscle mass in your
yes
40s exactly when you need it.
yeah
It's perfect because muscles are your longevity organ. That's what's burning more sugar than anything. So that's the number one thing we want to do. And I'll be honest with you guys, that's the number one thing we see. We see people starting to shred some weight, get rid of some of the junk, and then all of a sudden they're sending me messages, Jen, what are we going to do with all this energy? Go to the gym, do the workouts, do the
yeah
resistance training, do the push-ups.
yeah. Rachel finished her 234th uh, exercise class this evening. You know, since she's been, you know, and now
We're
she
going to
goes,
pull up
she gets
Rachel right
after it.
here.
She gets
Look at this
after it.
girl. This is
Yeah,
Rachel,
yeah,
Andrew's lovely wife. Look at that. Well, let's see. There we go.
yeah.
It's incredible.
Oh yeah. And now she likes to work out, and she goes and she gets after it. They actually closed their gym down, so they did a virtual class tonight, and her and the baby did yoga together.
I
Uh,
love
yeah,
that.
she's dying to get me into yoga, but I'm telling you, I'm tight as a banjo string. Uh,
Well, I want to show off your before and afters because
yeah,
you can obviously tell the change. The inflammation is gone. 70 pounds are gone. Like we said, 8 meds are gone. Such a huge, you look so much younger.
oh yeah,
You really truly do.
and I feel so much younger too. I mean, listen, I used to worry if I would have to like run or exert myself. Like, gosh, am I gonna have a heart attack? You know, now, I mean, you know, I run up and down the football field with the kids, refereeing football. Started doing that,
I love it.
and that's something I started doing because of this, because my joints don't hurt. I can do that. I had a friend join me. Sorry, my
So let's talk. So before you got started with this, with simple supplementation and doing some time-based eating, because that's what we do. The guys were doing some
mhm
fasting most days, skipping breakfast,
mhm
something I never thought that I'd be doing either.
mhm.
I ate every 2 to 3 hours too. And now that's out the window. I'm off all of my medication and lost 30 pounds myself. No longer have gut reflux or hypertension, high blood pressure. Um, and so between the two of us, we've lost intense amount of weight and medications, which is just
Mhm.
incredible. And one thing I want to talk to people about is for someone like you who was on quite a few medications and also dealing with inflammatory bowel, were you able to jump all in with the system? Did you have to kind of baby step? How did it work for you?
And I did jump all in. Um,
Okay,
if I have somebody now that I'm coaching, and they're jumping in, they have some with the bow. I try to get them. I try to coach them up to start with half the balance for the
go
first little
nice
bit,
and
just do
slow.
half, and
Yeah.
then work up to the full. Um, but listen, we were all in. We were all in from the get go. If we was going to do it, we was going to do it right. And once we got in the groove of Rachel cutting out the coffee and liking it hot, and then liking the second one, and me liking it with, I like it mixed weaker. I always coach people up to start with the bottle they give you, the
Mm-hmm.
16 ounces, mix it in that, and if it's too strong, you can add more water and weaken it. If you like
Absolutely.
that, then
Mm-hmm.
just sip on that. That's totally fine. That's up to you. And I know people who do it. Some people do it in ice. Some people add water to it and drink it for hours and hours. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the thing. It's what works for you,
Mm-hmm.
and that's huge. Now, the biggest side effect is you may have to run the potty a little bit, because you're getting stuff out of your kidneys and getting your stuff and cleaning that
Fluid.
out.
Fluid is
Yes,
flowing, right? And that's a
but
good thing. Yeah.
yes, it is, because I mean, what are they when you go to the ER? What's one of the first things they do? They put an IV in and they start a bag of fluids, because
Because
that
almost
fixes
everybody's dehydrated.
and it fixes a whole lot. I mean, that
It's
takes care.
crazy.
It's like a
Yeah,
band-aid for things, but hydration is huge. I mean, it really is,
absolutely.
and I didn't think about that. When I was in college, we used to they used to monitor our glucose, um, and would monitor our water intake and how much water we were losing on, like in 2 a day practices, because those are illegal nowadays. But they would watch those and how much weight we were losing with that.
Mm-hmm.
How much, because that's how much water we were losing. Um, it's huge, and thinking back on those days, there's a whole we they. I thought what I was going through
Mm-hmm.
was aging. You know, I'm just
Ah,
I'm
me
just getting
too.
older, and that and
Yeah,
but that's what we're trained. Our society trains us that way.
yeah, I
Oh,
agree.
you're just getting older. You're going to have to accept getting older. No, you don't. You need to eat, and you need to make sure you're taking care of your body in a way. I mean, I've never read the Bible where it says we got to eat three times a day and have 3 snacks a day. Does it say that? No. So we need to make sure that we're doing things that are going to make us healthy and are
Mm-hmm.
going to keep us here, because it's not just aging.
No, it's not.
We're not gaining weight, and our joints hurting and our inflammation and all those things because we're aging. Yes, maybe some of it,
Mm-hmm.
but why do you see people who are totally healthy, that eat healthy, who don't have those problems?
Yeah.
It's because they're doing it the right way. Um,
It's the
and I would have
insulin resistance
never.
that, honestly, that insulin resistance creeps up on you
Oh yeah, and
because
it's
you
it's
don't.
everywhere now. Have you noticed
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
It's
well,
an epidemic. It's
93%.
getting ready to be an epidemic. Epidemic.
93% of Americans have some level of insulin resistance. The CDC is estimating by the year 2050, half of Americans will be diabetic. And even though we have more medication than we've ever had before, those numbers just continue. Diabetes just keeps trending up because we are overeating as society members. Like we're seeing children who are morbidly obese. They're testing Ozempic on 7-year-olds. Why? Because they're morbidly obese. We didn't see that when we were kids. Think about that.
Mm-mm.
When we were kids, did you have a classmate that was morbidly obese?
No.
I didn't. I never
Mm-mm.
saw that. Never saw that. But I see it every day now. I see it every day.
And
And
that's the thing we've got to combat. If if there's any whoever's watching this, that's the thing. There
yeah,
is a better way, and it's not. They make it seem like it's this high mountain or this high standard that you can't you can't reach unless you eat food that tastes terrible. And honestly,
yeah.
somebody like they say, oh, you got to eat salads all the time. Salads don't taste good. That's a big man thing. And listen, I I don't eat salads all the time. I eat as much steak and chicken right now as I ever have. But
But
it's just
without a gout flare up.
exactly, and that's what's nuts about it. I mean, it's not. It wasn't the red meat and the alcohol.
It was the
It was
insulin.
the gut and the insulin.
Yep.
And now that those things and the kidneys are working right, and all of those things are working right, we're better. So, and I know there's lots of people out there that worry about aging and getting older
Mm-hmm.
and not being able to get in the floor with your kids. I don't have. I honestly, that was a big deal. I mean, I've got a 7 year
Yeah.
old, so I don't have that problem now. I think I think I think I go more than they go, than the kids go because I'll tell them, hey, let's go hit some tennis balls, and we're hitting tennis balls all the time because I can go all the time. Of course, I've always had a high motor, um, but now, whew, I mean, I'm up every day at 5 o'clock. Doesn't matter
Good for
what
you.
happens. 5 o'clock, I'm up and I'm going. And when I stop, I stop. I go to sleep.
Well, I feel like, okay, so we're in the age category that a lot of people aren't paying enough attention to their health yet, to
Mm-mm.
the fact that they want to avoid the nursing home. And that's always a big thing for me. Like I look at the future and I know we're only in our 40s, and yet all I can think about is the back of my mind as a pharmacist is I see people coming in that I've seen for the last 20 years age so quickly and go from a place of complete independence to a place of on 20 prescriptions and in a nursing home and having to have someone help them get up, stand up, and sit down because their muscle mass is nothing. And for me, I'm kind of at an advantage because I get to see that and it scares me enough to start paying attention. But for so many people our age, they wait until a major catastrophe, like a cancer diagnosis or a heart attack or a stroke, until they even start caring about their health at all.
Pull up that picture of me in the red. That's 37 years old. I've been doing the math in my head. That's 37 years old. Okay. And then pull up the three pictures of Rachel. Okay. That, you know,
Yeah,
she's in her 40s. In this last picture right there, she's in her 40s.
she looks great.
And
Rachel, you
she
look
looks
great.
amazing. Listen, her in her in that last picture
Hmm.
looks younger than I did 9 years ago.
Yeah, literally when you sent me this picture, I'm like, this has got
Yeah,
to be his dad. Is he
yeah.
telling me his dad's story? And I just kept looking at it. And I'm like, is that him? Is Andrew
Hmm.
in there somewhere?
Now, hey, listen. Speaking of dad, now that is a story, because
Yeah. Let's talk
dad's
about that
off.
too. Let's talk about
Dad's
that
off.
too.
He's off his insulin. Um, Back when he first got off of his insulin, he had kept his A1C as it says there on the screen between 5.1 and 5.2. And that first few days that he took him off his insulin, he was 87% in range because his
Yeah.
Dexcon
Yeah.
tells him how long his 3 and 5 day average of how long he was in his range, and that was his in range. So it works, and
Absolutely.
Keith, what is it he told us? Like it was 1,700 at one time, type 2 diabetics, and he had helped. He had helped. Um, could you imagine if we could all reach 1,700 type 2 diabetics, what we could do to this to our country?
And that's just it. When I started on this mission, okay, so I am a diabetic educator and pharmacist. And when I first started this, I literally started drinking this tea and fiber because I thought I was just going to taste it, see, make sure it's palatable, make sure it doesn't make me feel goofy or funny so that I could recommend it to my type 2 diabetics to help with their blood sugar and cholesterol numbers. I did not even think it was going to do anything for me. 110% skeptic. Didn't think it was going to do nothing for me at all. Thought, oh, maybe I got an extra 10 pounds I need to lose. Meanwhile, a few months in, I'm down 20 pounds. Now I'm down almost 30 and put on 5 pounds of muscle, which I never thought I'd be able to say that I'm putting on muscle off my prescription. I never thought any of that was going to happen. I thought I was going to help some other people with their blood sugar. Little did I know I needed to help myself with
Mm-hmm.
my blood sugar. That's just it, guys. You go to the doctor's office, your A1C may be normal, doesn't mean your insulin's normal. Doesn't mean your inflammation's okay. Doesn't mean that your gut is not inflamed, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it might only look like an extra 10 pounds or 20 or 30 pounds for some people. And for some people, it's 100 and more extra pounds that they're holding on to. And they realize that, right? But it creeps up on you slowly. And it's not age, it's just years of us ignoring the problem. It's years of us ignoring the problem, years of us overeating, over snacking, too much sugar, too much carbs, getting a little lazy with the exercise, maybe, right? Getting busy with life, letting stress in our jobs take over, and slowly over time, that insulin level creeps up to the point where we're banging on the door of pre-diabetes and we don't even know it.
Yeah, and see that's the amazing thing is even if all of those things in life happens because life happens
Yeah,
for moms and dads and busy adults and people with careers, that kind of stuff happens. But if you're willing to do this, is not going to be something that's going to interfere with that. This
exactly.
is something people don't even understand. This is so small and so simple that anybody can do it. I mean, Kai was watching a cartoon. You know, she said, "Go get some tea, Daddy." I mean, and that's so she's
Hmm.
seeing that we eat healthy, and a lot of
Yeah.
we're gluten free. A lot of the things we eat here are gluten free at the house, and Rachel had been that way for years, and it's just it's made us so much healthier, um, and we need that. People need this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The modern food environment is not going anywhere. We're going to be tempted with it for the rest of our lives. No matter what regulations seem to come down, we're not getting rid of. I mean, Doritos and Pepsi Cola aren't going anywhere. Let's be
Mm-mm.
honest, right? They're not getting outlawed. The little changes are being made. Now we have protein Doritos instead of regular Doritos, but is it really changing the processing and the carbs and all the stuff? No, of course not. And it's we're going to be fighting this for the rest of our lives. So we have to focus on good, clean gut health, protecting our gut from the carbs and the sugar we do consume, and eating as much whole foods as we possibly can. And I think I know Andrew said when him and Rachel first started, they went all in. I'm going to be honest with you. I went half in. I tiptoed in. I started with drinking the tea first thing in the morning and not eating a great lunch and a great dinner, but taking the fiber consistently with dinner. And then pretty soon I started realizing that, I was starting to crave healthier foods. I started making lunch healthy. And here, 3 years later, I eat eggs and avocado for lunch almost every day throughout the week. I crave healthy food. I crave steak. We just did a 72-hour fast. I broke that 72-hour fast and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for a cup of bone broth, a good steak, and some broccoli. Like that's all I was thinking about. And 3 years ago, would you have ever said that? Think about the things you craved.
No, no.
Heck no.
Oh, it's absolutely that. Now that is something. Your
Yeah.
taste buds do change,
Yeah.
and I will tell you one side effect is we drink. Of course, our whole family no we not no pop, but um, our water filter. You know, they got the 6 month water filters on your fridge.
Hmm.
Ours is 3 because we drink so much water. I
Key to
mean,
success. 70% of people, Americans, are dehydrated. We're
yeah.
dehydrated as a nation because we drink so much sugar. We can't keep up with flushing it through our kidneys with enough water. And we're not drinking water anyway. We're going for the Starbucks and we're going for the Pepsi Cola, and it's just further dehydrating our body. It's one of the biggest mistakes we make. And that's the one thing that the tea has really, really started in me. It's given me a thirst for water again.
Hmm.
I crave
Oh yeah.
water.
I never drink water.
Me
Like
either. Like
if they
literally
when
ever.
I mean back when I was drinking soda and Pepsis all the time, I'm like drink water. Gatorade maybe. You know.
Not
Um,
me. Mine was coffee, energy drinks, Diet Coke, iced tea. Literally never water. In the back of my brain, I was like, well, iced tea's mostly water. Coffee's brewed with water. I'm getting my hydration. How many
no.
people are like that?
Oh
Think the
yeah.
exact same way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have been absolutely loving this conversation. I'm gonna look real quick and see if we've had any questions in here. We've had lots of wonderful comments. I love that your wife's in here supporting you so much, saying you guys tried so many things for gout and nothing really helped at all. Um, Lowering the inflammation has been huge for so many. And Rachel saying her aunt suffered major muscle mass loss on the injections, and I've seen so many people do that. Guys, the truth is when it comes to the GLP injections, you can safely use them at microdosing if you're also pushing the protein and getting in the resistance training. But the truth is if you're pushing the protein and you're getting in the resistance training, you're already healthy and you don't need the stinking injections. That's just my own personal opinion. If you're doing the good things, you're not going to need them. If you're
Yeah.
eating
I
the good
will
food
tell
and
you.
doing the working out,
I will tell you that at my household, you did get the backup. The starter is Rachel. She's the one she's the one that she's really. I mean, she'll try a new recipe.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think? Is that one staying in the rotation? Like tonight we had like chicken thighs, and they were cooked. They were cooked so good. Um, and she's been trying to work at that. So she's the rock star of it. You guys got the backup. Sometime you need to get we'll get the rock star on here with you.
I know, Rachel. We'll have to get you on here for the next interview because we want to hear your story too. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Andrew. I know you've been through a lot with your health and wellness. You got the scars to prove it, right?
Yeah,
That you've been through it. You can't deny it. And making small, like literally adding something this small into your life made huge changes. So if you're someone out there listening and you're struggling, whether it's with the gout or the IBS or the Crohn's, whether it's the blood pressure, the cholesterol, the blood sugar, it really doesn't matter. If you know you're eating the wrong foods, if you're hungry every 2 hours, if you're craving all the time, if you have all those signs of insulin resistance we were talking about, or even some of them, reach out to Andrew today and have a conversation about your health. This is a man whose mission, our mission here is to teach you nutrition and to help inspire everyone around us and the next generations to eat healthier so we can avoid as many prescriptions as humanly possible and really live the best version of our lives.
and everybody gets caught up on weight. Me
Yes,
and you had this
true.
conversation today, actually earlier today. Everybody gets caught up on weight and weight loss and all that. And listen, that is one of the best side effects of all of this. But the biggest part is getting healthy and coming off the
Yes.
medicines and the inflammation. And I would say one of the biggest battles is getting once the inflammation's gone, then the weight's easier to get off.
Yes. And so you can't just stress it
No,
and, and concentrate on staying on the scale every second and stressing over if is it moving or is it not.
yeah,
Because once you start healing your gut and taking down that inflammation, it's inches first and pounds next. And it really
Hmm.
does happen.
Oh yeah.
It's been amazing for both of us. So before we cut out, is there any one message you would like to give to someone if they feel like they are struggling and they're just not sure if this is going to be for them?
Reach out because you know I wasn't sure either, and I sat there and watched and watched. I mean, I watched for
Mm-hmm.
6 months, and and once we decided to take the leap, and I'll be honest, I wouldn't have taken the leap if my wife, if she wasn't there to support me and we didn't do it together. I don't think I would have took it as seriously as I did. But you know, we can encourage you and we will help you. Reach out to us and take that chance. Don't wait. Your health is it's time is time is one of the greatest independent variables. And I'm showing that I'm a mathematician here, but you know time, it's independent. It's going to go. You can't control it, you can't manipulate it, but we can affect the variable about how good our quality is with the time that we have.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I've seen so many people who spend the last 20 years of their lives sick, bedridden, dementia, medication side effects, and struggling. And I know
Hmm.
that's not where I want to be. And I know it's not where
No,
you want to be either. And it starts now. The
it
sooner you
does.
start, because we always say that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Yep.
It really, truly is. So thank you, everyone, so much for listening in today. Feel free to share this with anyone who is struggling with their health and wellness and maybe needs to hear this message. And like we said, reach out to Andrew and I, ask some questions in the comments. We're here to help you with your health.
Oh
Thank you
yeah.
so much, everybody. So we'll be back here doing another episode on Thursday. We're going to have Cowboy Mike on here on Thursday talking about muscle. So he's going to be talking about creatine and
All
protein and
right.
muscle building and the ooh, and we'll make him
Hey,
flex. I don't know what we're gonna do. It's
stronghold. They say every man needs like 5 mil of something of it,
yep,
and stronghold has that. So
yes.
I have started adding stronghold into my routine.
I love it. And that's what we're going to be talking about on Thursday. So, anybody interested in talking about the muscle, talking about the anabolic resistance, talking about all those things, that's where we're going to be between now and Thursday before we see you again. Please stay powerfully present in your health and wellness because nobody's going to knock those Doritos out of your hand and nobody's going to take the donuts out of your cart for you, right? Like, nobody's going to do these things for you. You're going to have to step up for yourself and we'll make
Yeah.
it easier. Thank you so much for joining me.